Right? Hey, but look, today, run your best race, run to win, and run like you're a champion. Okay, run a race to win. Don't tell yourself when it gets hard, right, Jack, and it starts to hurt. Don't slide back from that. Okay, push through. It's gonna hurt, but it hurts to win, guys. Realize that it hurts to win, right? Andrick, it hurts to run a 50 in the 400, right? Right, it hurts. That's a part of it. Okay, it's gonna hurt. Make it hurt. Win. That's the goal. Okay, everybody got it?
Sir.
Everybody got what's going on today? Okay, and a lot of people are following you guys. You may not know it, but a lot of people keep up with you guys. Okay, everywhere we go, it's about, how's track doing? What's track doing? What's track doing? Right? And so stay with the guys that are running in your race with you. Hang out with those guys, warm up together, and have one mindset. Okay, one mindset. That's to win.
It was always going to come down to this. Greenwood, Andrews. One meet, one title. Greenwood entered the district meet as the favorite. But when the sun rose on day 2, Andrews had the lead by double digits. The pressure was real, and the margin was gone.
We didn't have to perform any miracles. We just had to do what we do, and we knew we were going to come out on top.
Champions aren't just measured by speed, but what they carry. Expectations, pressure, the weight of legacy. Greenwood has had the district crown in its crosshairs for years. But on this night, they'd have to prove they deserved it. The weight these Rangers would carry would push them to the edge. But heavy is the crown. The day started with a bang. Mason Lee, Heidenreich, Nathaniel Romero, and Caden Alford opened the running finals with the 4x100 meter relay. Clean start, crisp handoffs, and all-out effort. The Rangers clocked 42.79, just shy at a school record. First place, 20 points, and the first gold medals of the night.
We knew that most of the district was coming for us in the 4x1, and it was really a chance for us to step on the gas and get the track meet started off right.
At this point in the season, there is no do-overs, there is no turning back. I'm extremely proud of our relays. We all ran our hardest, our handoffs were great, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
We started off the evening with we started off the day with the 4x1, and I knew that the 4x1 would tell the story. And when we came out, we ran really well. We ran our best time of the season. We ran hard, and we won. And so I thought that once that race was done, that everything was gonna probably swing our way from there.
Immediately following the excitement, it was time for an Andrews specialty, the 800-meter run. But the Rangers weren't sitting this one out. Hunter Outlaw ran with patience and purpose. A perfectly timed push for 5th. 2 huge points.
Hunter Outlaw, he's been caught in between powerlifting and track for most of the track season, and he finally had the ability to come out and run for us, and he knew what he had to do. The 800 was actually one of the better races of the track meet, honestly. There was a lot of lead changes, a lot of going back and forth, and Hunter Outlaw, he ran with a lot of guts and just barely missed out on qualifying for area. He ended up 5th, but it was definitely points that we could use and that we needed. So he ran really well.
From an Andrews specialty into a race that the Rangers have dominated all season. In the hurdles, Greenwood wasn't just racing, they were sending a message. Kasen Brooks flew to gold in 15.26 seconds. Dakota Underhill punched in second, and that was 18 points, no hesitation.
That's the cleanest I've run so far this year. I could feel the crowd and I could feel my team behind me the whole way.
Watching Kasen and Dakota go 1st and 2nd in the hurdles, that wasn't just points, that was motivation.
We have some really good hurdlers, and they have been outstanding all year long. And very few times have they let us down when we needed them to come through. And this was a point where we really needed them to step up and make sure that they stayed dominant and stay on top. And Kasen and Dakota both came through with first and second in the 110s. And those were points that we definitely needed.
Focus then shifted to the 100-meter dash. Relays and hurdles were the team's bread and butter, but open races like this are vital when hunting a district championship. Mason Lee placed 4th. Heidenreich grabbed 6th. That's 5 more points added. No let-up.
The 100 actually turned out to be kind of a nightmare. We had a guy that false started, ended up not for us, but for Andrews. He ended up getting DQ'd, but they didn't call the race back. They went ahead and let him run, and so that kind of threw the whole thing into a free fall and a free for all, really. When all the dust settled, Mason Lee ended up 4th, and Hayden ran really well, and he ended up scoring some points for us. Hayden's a freshman, and so that was really good for him, and it was a big step for him. But Mason Lee qualifying, I think that's going to give him some good confidence going forward. I was really pleased with the way that race broke down for us.
Then came the 4x200-meter relay. This was a heavily contested race, with Andrews and Fort Stockton both hoping to edge out the Rangers. But Greenwood got the stick around with surgical precision. 1 minute, 28.51 seconds. Fort Stockton fought hard, but Greenwood locked in another 20 points.
In the 4x2, Fort Stockton continued to push us, but that was really just us saying that we're not giving anything up tonight.
Once the stick hit my hand, I knew it was go time because Eduardo, he's really fast, and I knew I had to get out, and I had trusted my brothers to put me in the position to win.
In the 4x2, we ran a really clean race. Everyone hit their marks. Everyone had a good exchange, and that's what separates a great relay team from a good one.
So the 4x2 went really well for us. I knew that Fort Stockton was the only team that could run with us if we ran really well, and we did. Everybody ran a great leg. All the handoffs and exchanges were good and clean, no issues, and Andrick finished the race off. Dylan started off really well, Andrick finished off really well, and we ended up running our fastest time of the season with everything looking good to get faster as we go forward. That was a really, really pivotal point for us in the track meet. And it kind of swung everything because Andrews ended up not being able to finish the race. That helped us recover all the points that we needed to, go ahead and seal the victory.
The excitement from that relay lasted only a moment as focus shifted to the 400-meter dash. And it wasn't just a race, it was a duel. Kasen Brooks and Andrick Rodriguez had pushed each other all season, trading bests and raising the standard. Earlier this year, Andrick set the school record, but on this night, it was Kasen's turn, 50.41, a new PR and a new school record. Andrick followed in 50.8, first and second, and Greenwood kept climbing.
The record's not just mine alone, it's Andrick's too, and we've just been pushing each other all year.
Kasen and I are both trying to break 50, and if I don't get it this week, I hope he does.
We had a 400-meter record here at Greenwood since 1991, and it's been broken twice this season, once by Andrick, and then Kasen broke Andrick's record. And I have no doubt that both of them are going to go faster as we go forward. And so I'm sure that the record's going to get broken again. I just don't know by which one, and they may both break it again. The thing that happens is they're both pushing each other. Kasen wants to beat Andrick, and Andrick wants to beat Kasen, and so it's a friendly competition. But when they're on the track, it's serious business, and it shows itself in the times that they're running.
The 300 hurdles don't just demand speed; they demand pain tolerance. Legs get heavy, lungs burn, and races are won by heart. Dylan Payton pulled away from the pack with smooth rhythm and pure grit, 39.68 and gold. Aaron Carrillo fought through to grab third. Dakota Underhill added fifth. 10-6-2. That's 18 more points. None of them coming easy.
That last 100 meters in the 300 hurdles is where most people break, but I tried to tell myself to push through and keep going.
Yeah, so the 300 hurdle race was a pivotal point for us. And it was kind of a weird deal because Kevin's been running the 300 hurdles for us all year. He ended up, I think he did something to a ligament in his ankle. He was unable to run the 300 hurdles for us this week. So Dakota had to step into that role, and Dakota did great. He made finals. We were sitting 1, 2, 3 going into finals, but then in the finals, it ended up being, of course, Dylan first and Aaron Carrillo ended up third, but they all ran really well. The 300 hurdle race is a tough race, and it ended up being another one of those points where we just continued to dominate and take hold of the meet.
In a 200-meter dash, Heidenreich found just enough in the tank to stay in the fight. It wasn't a podium, but it was a point. And in a meet like this, 1 point is never small.
So the 200 was crazy. I expected Alford to win the 200. Mason Lee's block slipped. Hayden McNutt ended up running a really fast time. You know, he scored a point for us in that one, and him being a freshman, that was a big deal. You know, we didn't finish the way that I wanted to in the 200, but we did get a point out of it, and Andrews got no points. So that was a good thing for us right there. Again, it's just another point where we kind of swung the meet in our direction.
Andrews has ruled distance events for years, their stronghold in every meet. Greenwood didn't need to win these races, but they had to break through to take something to change the math. Then Jack Ledford stepped up in the mile. He ran smart, stayed close, then turned it on. Third place, 6 more points. It was a performance that inspired everyone.
Knowing Andrews is strong in the mile and them winning and taking points from us last year, I strive to try to get third so I can steal some of those points back.
Those distance points, that's where the battle got won. That's when it got real.
You know, the last few years, the killer for us has been the 1600 because we would be ahead up until that point, and we just didn't have anybody to compete with Andrews. It also helps that Monahan's has a really good distance kid, but Jack showed up and he ran his best race of the season in the 1600, and he ended up in third, which was huge for us because it broke up the Andrews points. You know, Jack he finally ran a really, really good race and pushed through, you know, that wall and through the pain. And so we ended up getting the points that we needed there to go ahead and solidify things for us moving forward, knowing that at that point, there was nobody that was going to catch us.
The boys were chasing a crown, but the girls were chasing greatness too. Sydney Click sprinted on the 100. Kalani Weeks owned the 200. May Savage doubled in the 800 and the 1600, a display of endurance and fire. And then there's Jackson Heiser, healthy again, proved why she's one of the team's emotional leaders. Third in the hurdles in an area qualifier.
I was very proud of the way the girls reacted to competition at district. There was some tough moments leading up to that meet, but the way the girls handled it meant the world to all of our team and our teammates. We had Jackson Heiser, who's been fighting injury after injury. I was very proud of her for her 100-meter hurdle time, and for her to get to move on to area and hopefully regionals means the world to us and to her as well. We also had Sydney Click coming back from an injury. She came into the 100 not knowing if her leg would withhold that distance, but she did. And then leading into area, she could be able to go farther in the 100, but also on our 4x1 and 4x2. Kaylani Weeks did outstanding in her 200-meter open. She is one that isn't really sure what she's capable of until there's competition in front of her, and then she just blows them away. Each and every week, her time is dropping, and she's learning the confidence needed to keep going at the next level. We're really excited about her 25.2 time and really looking forward to see what she can do at area. You also have girls like Kira Humphreys and Clara Aranda who are stepping in because of those injuries. They've been on the 4x1 and 4x2, and they have been so gracious and humble about the opportunity. Then you've got Kira going out there in the 4x2 and getting so close to the school record, and yet being willing to give that spot up to Sydney when she becomes healthy again. It shows so much about those two young ladies that they're willing to do that for us and for their team. You've got Angel Smith, who is moving on in 2 throwing events. The discus and the shot have been hard for her mentally. She's had to overcome not throwing her best because she's learning new things. Being able to spin has been one of the hurdles that she has overcome this year, and she is getting PRs after PRs after PRs. So I was proud of her for doing that on the big stage when she needed to. I hope she knows how much she means to this team, even though she's stuck over there in the throws when everyone else is in the running and has the stands behind them cheering them on. You also have Gracie and Ava in the pole vault moving on when they have worked so hard behind the scenes too. Gracie is one that in the beginning of the year, she asked to be on JV just so she could be in more events. And now that she's on varsity, she's shining in her one event. Ava has overcome injury after injury as well, but being pole vaulter and 4x1, 4x2, so that means a lot to our team as well.
The Rangerette relays were fearless. 3rd in the 4x100, 2nd in the 4x200, and 2nd in the 4x400, and they never backed down. All 3 relays earned another week to compete at the area meet. And then one race remained. The Rangers 4x400 meter relay, a final test of trust, toughness, and team. If you had any doubt how the Rangers would perform, you must not have been paying attention. Greenwood ran with fire, they ran with focus, and when it was over, they ran away with the district title.
You know, in the 4x4, I knew we were going to win that race before it even started. You know, all the work we put in, and it really wasn't even close.
There wasn't time to be nervous. It was basically our victory lap, and
it was just a great way to end a milestone meet for us.
We've been chasing this district title for years, and it's just been a great feeling to finally get there.
The 4x4 is the pinnacle of the track meet for us. It's the race that we build our track program on. It's the race that I want everybody to want to be a part of. It's the final race of the night. It's the race that everybody shows up to watch. And if everything goes right, it should be the race that decides the meet, you know? And so our guys, all they had to do was go out and run and win. And so all they needed to do was dominate, and they did that. They needed to dominate all day that day. They did that. They did everything that was required of them to come up with the win for the district championship. The JV and varsity swept the district championship. I don't know that that's ever happened here at Greenwood. And so I couldn't have been happier for our guys. I couldn't have been happier in the moment. It was good because it was a lot of work put in, and to see the fruition of everything, you know, to come to fruition of all the things that we've worked on this season. So the thing is, now we got to go forward and we got to refocus and recalibrate what we're trying to do.
This win wasn't just a victory, it was a milestone, a turning point, a redemption earned by grit, by teamwork, and by belief. But it was also just the beginning. Now the finish line shifts. Area, regionals, state. The district crown was a lot to carry. But from here on, the crowns just get heavier. It was the first goal, but now the race continues. And it's a race the Rangers intend on finishing.